at this point in my journey, I would say this works for me. And it has worked for me. And you can have this or any part of it. I will also say, as a skier and or an ice skater, that I have fallen more than once and I've gotten up. There's no such thing as a perfect walking of the path.
Hello, and welcome to the New Thought Men's podcast, where we're building healthy masculinity in the world. It's great to have you with us. I'm Eamon, and today's guest is Reverend Dr. Harry Morgan Moses. Let me share a little bit about Harry before we bring him on. Harry is the author of the popular It's So Easy When You Know How. It's now in its second edition. His newest book is Obvious Power: The Secrets of Habits and Attitudes. He's also featured in the movies Living Luminaries, The Serious Business of Happiness, What is New Thought, and A New Thought, A New You. He has a weekly live cast called Coffee with Casper, his golden retriever, a very sweet dog. That streams on Tuesdays at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Harry is the founder of the New Thought Center in San Diego, co-founder and past president of the affiliated New Thought Network, ANTN. He is a teacher, he is a speaker, he is a coach, and he is a luminary. Welcome, Harry. Great to have you with us.
My pleasure. And I didn't do that with the light behind me. It's just there.
We know you're the light.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the reflection of what's true. Awesome, Harry. Well, so we just had you do the sharing for our summit, which is coming up, and I'm just so excited. It was so great. It was called The Responsibilities of Maintenance and Repair. You started it out with, there were some of us who were kind of raised in that Superman complex, that superhero complex, where we could, the one man who can save the world, kind of awareness around that. And I loved what you said just about repair and about maintenance. So can you share just a little bit about that, the differences between repair and maintenance for us?
Well, one of the things I mentioned, which is now mostly understood, is that energy and matter are equal and interchangeable, right? That matter changes form, but energy that creates it does not change form. And so what we are living in is an energetic universe that's indestructible. So this whole idea that we need a savior or someone is going to come save the world is not necessary, because the world doesn't need saving. It's already immortal and indestructible. So what are you going to save it from, right? Now,
so the rapture didn't need to happen last week, which apparently it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it never quite works out that way anyway. But the reality is that the real work is discovering who you are as an immortal spiritual being.
Yeah.
In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, it says, I came from the light, I put on a coat of skins, and I'll return to the light. Right. Now, that journey is the real journey, not what you did in the world. There was an old expression in the 70s when I was in high school, is you could tell the difference between the men and the boys by the size of their toys. And I always think that that's so ridiculous, because you come in naked, you go out naked. None of the toys go with you, right? Yeah. No toys go with you. You came in naked, you go out naked. So whatever you amass is not what life is about. It's about who is the one doing that work in the world, whatever it is, whether you decide to be a Tibetan monk or whether you decide to be a successful businessman and contributor to the Western world. It doesn't, that part depends on your own vibration. What do you want to do, right? I love the idea that not that I believe in you're going to get questioned by God about how you did, but I think the question that will run through your consciousness as you evolve, as you start to see more clearly through what Ernest Holmes, the great metaphysician from the last century, called the myths, is that he said the entire point of these lessons is to enable man, to free man from himself, enable him to see through the mist into the eternal and changeless reality, right? So when we see through the eternal and changeless reality, the questions your own soul is going to be asking is, what'd you learn about love? And what'd you do with your gifts, right? And that would be what I did with my gifts would be, how authentic was I to myself, right? That's a really interesting thing. One of the things that you didn't mention, which I don't make a big deal of, but I happen to be a pensioned actor in the Screen Actors Guild. I spent 19 years making a living in front of the camera. And at that time, I was really convinced, once an actor, always an actor, until at some point I realized the spirit itself, that the giver of my own life force, wanted me to get off the script and to start writing and speaking what I thought was so, right? So like, okay, well, I have had some joy in showing up on an occasional set, but I was dedicated as a professional actor to doing that work. Now, and for the last 35, 40 years, I've been dedicated to the discovery of what's my authentic self and how do I bring it forward in the world. Right? Yeah. Very different paradigm. Yeah. And that's really what we want. I'm a parent. I've got 2 beautiful full-grown kids and 6 grandchildren. And, the greatest joy is, the dog, the cat, the bird, and the kids, and it's like, well, I don't know if that, I hope that shows up. He likes the dog, the cat, the dogs, the cats, the bird, and the kids, the grandkids. That was a great gift. Right. Yeah. But that's authentic to who I am and what I really mean. That doesn't mean you don't have all the other human challenges in the middle, but you try to eventually, as you mature, as you're going forward, particularly when you're doing it consciously. Like, one of the things I think that people don't really understand is that when you're making a decision, whether you're Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote a wonderful essay on circles. And he talks about circle upon circle and wheels upon wheels and generation upon generation, and how all of those circles are all connected, right? Yeah. So eventually everything's connected. And if we really knew that, then what we would know is that the real contribution I can make in the world is discovering who and what I am, and to walk that walk, or dance that dance, or sing that song in the world. And that will make you feel better about yourself, and that will cause you to be more forgiving to yourself, more loving to yourself, and understanding that it's not a matter of how big your group is. It's a matter of what is the qualities of your authentic self are you bringing to that group, whether it's your family, your friends, your support group, or a men's community, or wherever the groups or affinities are. Yeah. What are you bringing to it? And then ultimately, what are you bringing to it as a human being? I just came back from a cruise, the first one I've been on with my wife. Well, we've been on boats, but not a cruise ship. And I'm 900 people that I don't know, and nobody's reading my essay. Nobody's saying, this is the great and wonderful Harry Morgan Moses who contributes to the world. Nobody says that. You're just another guest on the boat. And the question is, well, are you a good guest? Are you bringing a nice vibration to the boat, or are you bringing a bad vibration to the boat? Right? And that's what you're going to get credit for is, oh, there was a guy who was so nice, or somebody who helped, or somebody who offered to help. I mean, I remember we were walking with a group, and the group was walking too fast, and a wonderful gay couple started to fall back to watch out for us. Right. And those are the sweetest people. Yeah. Right. Because they were extending beyond their own vacation to look out for other people. Yeah. And I thought, well, boy, was that, those are some sweet souls, right? And that's who you want. That's what you want in your world, is be attracting people who you think are making a good contribution to the world, right?
Yeah.
And to do it consciously. And that's the whole point, is no matter how big or small it is, it's are you seeking to be a beneficial presence consciously? And are you working on that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a fit of rage, or you're following the newspapers and you're upset about this side or that side, or even you can't undo a violent act with a gun that's already happened. There's nothing you can do about that, but you can be a vibration of peace. You can be a vibration of love. You can be a vibration that goes beyond humans imposing suffering upon itself.
Mm.
Don't be a human who imposes suffering upon itself, right? Yeah. That's how you can change the world. Change yourself and change the world. That's the best way to do it. And in that way, you'll be making your contribution. And big or small, like I say, it doesn't matter. You don't take any of the toys with you, and nor do you take any of the bank accounts with you or anything else. Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's you're acting from soul purpose instead of material purpose.
Correct. There was a great New Thought teacher named Roy Eugene Davis who did a wonderful work for a lot of years, and I knew him personally. And his line, which I borrow all the time, is, "I am an immortal spiritual being, superior to my mind, to my body, and to my experience." So let me put my attention on that great, magnificent fact, and not so much on whether I'm driving a fancy car or riding on a big boat.
Mm. Mm.
Not that there's anything wrong with fancy cars or big boats, but it's not going to fulfill your purpose. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if you're acting from that place of purpose, then maybe that big boat goes to a place where they've just had a disaster and helps people, or something like that. It's like for me anyhow, more motivated by this soul purpose thing. This
correct.
This
deeper drive. The line that comes out of that is, "I choose to comfortably live my life and fulfill my purpose." Your suffering is not helping anybody.
Yeah.
Find a way to help yourself and be gentle with yourself and be comfortable with yourself, and to comfortably live your life and according to the way you see it, right? The way your body needs it. What do you need? Not everybody. Jack LaLanne, the great fitness guy, towed a rowboat in his teeth for 26 miles across the water. Everybody doesn't need to do that. Yeah. But if it's yours to do, rock on,
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I really got from when you were talking about kind of maintenance and repair is, not needing to be the Superman, not needing to fix the world, as if I could do that. If I could, that'd be great. But it's like you were talking about, this world has been here. It's not, it's going to remain in a sense, forever, infinitely.
It's in some form or another, right?
In some form or another, yeah.
So,
and to take,
but who you are in it, that makes a big difference. I had an interesting experience within the last 3 or 4 years. I was a camper from the time I was little. My first car was a Volkswagen bus.
Me too.
And I went camping all the time.
Yeah.
And one of the great joys in camping is setting up your campsite and then taking care of your campsite, right? So if you cook a meal, you got to clean up after the meal so the ants don't come get everything you've got. You can't leave the food out for the bears. I mean, you got to do maintenance on your campsite, and that's part of camping, right? That's part of this joyful experience called camping. Well, your own home is a campsite, right? Well, I've been married for 43 years, and I love my wife, and we do different things in our partnership together. And I end up doing a lot of emptying the dishwasher. Frankly, as talented as she is, she's not that good at loading the dishwasher, so I tend to do it. And then one day, I'm simply unloading the dishwasher, and I'm like somehow pissy because I'm the one having to unload the dishwasher. And then I saw myself toss a plate up onto the stack of plates and chip it. And I thought, well, Harry, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? what's the point? That's your campsite. You created it with your partner. Why are you upset that you have to maintain it? Right? Now that's maintenance, right? Maintenance. If you have a car and you don't change the oil, it's going to break down on you.
Yeah.
If it's not an electric car, but whatever the maintenance required is, right?
Yeah.
You have to do it was designed at that level to do that thing. If you don't cooperate with that design, it's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're designed as a soul to discover the magnificence of who you really are, right?
Yeah.
Well, then, and you might have a campsite along the way. Well, then I highly recommend you do maintenance on your campsite.
Yeah.
Right. You know, the fence isn't going to repair itself unless you get the fence repaired. Right. The plumbing needs fixing. Is not going to stop leaking unless you fix the plumbing. You follow? That's maintenance. Right. Yeah. Renewing the world, it would be like, none of this matters anymore. I want a giant mansion and I got to figure out how to get a giant mansion when you don't even want to live in a giant mansion.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my Swiss chalet in the mountains. My Swiss chalet happens to be in the Santa Monica Mountains in California, but it's an adorable little Swiss chalet. And I don't mind taking care of it, but I had to learn that myself. Like, I had to not get upset about maintaining. Maintenance is my job, not repair. I don't know how to fix the broken pipe. The plumber guy has to do that, but I know how to get the money to get the plumber guy to fix the broken pipe. You follow? Yeah. These are maintenance things, and that is a responsibility of ours. You have to do maintenance. Now, there's what we teach is in New Thought is the idea of seed, soil, and plant, right?
Yeah.
So we would say male as the initiator, female as the molder and creator, and that which is born to both masculine and feminine, which is form, right? Well, once things become form, there is a male role in there, right? And that male role is maintenance and responsibility, and it's also to look at your experience, what's coming out of my relationship with the whole, and what does it need? Does it need expansion? Where does it need repair? Does it need renewing? That part is a male gift that we're good at. We can look around and say, "Oh, I know how to help. I know how to do the maintenance on that so that it gets up to its highest level of vibration." Right? That's maintenance. Repair would be, I have to throw this all out and start again because it ain't right. And that's like making the world new. Well, but it doesn't need to be made new. That's a thought that you just made up.
Yeah.
Right?
Or it's not right. I know for myself, like, I've had thoughts of like, this is, and I know I'm only disappointing myself, but this isn't the right world, like it's supposed to be high-minded. It's supposed to be everybody working together to create abundance for all, to create a world that works for everyone, and the reality is that that's not the capitalistic society that we live in.
However, but you can,
that is the capitalistic society that we live in, rather.
Right. But you can purpose yourself to it. Yeah. Right. I can be somebody who seeks to do that. And some days you're going to be throwing plates because you're pissy. Right. And some days you could then you'll maybe see yourself and go, that's not what I mean to be in the world. Right. I'm very appreciative of the fact that my life has built this beautiful home that we live in. Our lives together has built this beautiful home. So I no longer get pissy. In fact, I enjoy chopping wood. The Buddhists call that chopping wood and carrying water. So do the Native Americans. Somebody got to go get the water. Somebody got to get some wood because we got to cook, right? I now find great pleasure in the simplicity of chopping wood and carrying water. Yeah, just do the maintenance work that's mine to do, and not try to reinvent the world. I was a follower of Arun Gandhi's, who was, Mahatma Gandhi's grandson, who set out to continue teaching nonviolence. So, well, what's the best way to teach nonviolence? don't be violent. So,
model it.
model it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there another way? And I have seen the power of nonviolence completely work. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, everybody thinks that they need to get a bigger gun. Well, I don't believe that. And so I don't do that. You follow?
Yeah.
But it's not that having a gun is wrong. It's what does your vibration want to do? What seems authentically real to you? And as we shared in the summit, that exercise to invite your high self in, the part of you that is not stuck in the world. To invite it to guide you, to invite it to show you. And Ernest Holmes, the great metaphysician from the last century, he really said there are two things that make up that practice. And the two things is daily you meditate, which means simply to quiet the mind. There's a lot of different ways to do that, right? Yeah. And daily you do affirmative prayer, meaning daily you create in your mind the kind of life and world that you want to live and invite the universe to help you do that. Right? Yeah. And that's what makes you a metaphysician. Meta is a Greek word. It means in front of, along with, or beside, right? What I know is, other than the newspapers and other than the way that humans behave as a race, there's another side of that, the meta side, which is the higher order of being, the higher order of love, the beauty in a new baby, the comfort from a puppy, the beauty, the transcendent authority of a forest or the mountains or the beautiful ocean, right? There are ways to quiet the mind so that you can begin to see the great blessing that your life already is, even if you think you've messed it up, or even if you think you need to start anew. That's okay. My friend Mary Manning Morrissey, the wonderful spiritual teacher, she used to say, today is a brand new baby day, right? When you wake up, it's a brand new baby day. How are you going to treat it? You're going to treat it with the same gruff attitude you had yesterday, or are you going to treat it with some loving care and affection? Yeah. And which one works better? And what did you say? Try it for 30 days, right?
Yeah.
Try it for 30 days. The difference, which ones works better? Bring your gruffy, upset with the world part to play first thing in the morning, or bring your appreciation for a brand new day to play first thing in the morning, and see how different it comes out. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to refresh for those who haven't seen the summit, the exercise that you came up with was around unconditional love and forgiveness. And it was write your to-do list, and then take that to-do list and set it down, and then call in your higher self. Call in that part of you that is connected to that all-knowing, that is connected to the oneness, the wholeness, the cosmos, and allow that to inform the to-do list. Allow that to order the to-do list, or add or subtract.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are the priority items? And then you start seeing from this higher vantage point, simply because you have an exercise, a place to practice it.
Yeah. Harry, that's been a practice of mine for a very long time, to call in kind of that sacred space, to call in my higher self, my guardians, my guides, my allies, my ancestors behind me, and inviting that into my day and saying, support this group, or, surround me with light today. Whatever it is, uplift my mind. Open me to my greater good. That kind of stuff. Yeah. And then it shows up. It shows up in like these really amazing, crazy ways, just by adding intentionality to my day in that way, just by saying, hey, okay, let's call on this greater wisdom. Let's call on this greater knowledge. And it is that intention. Or, we can stay in that separation perspective, I was raised Catholic, so it's like that whole idea of we're separate from God. We're in the the Garden of Eden, and we got kicked out of there. Even, like there's all this mythology. There's all this belief around that I am separate from this. And it really took me a long time to get over that. In some ways, I'm still getting over it.
Oh, yeah.
And knowing that deep wholeness that's within me, knowing that I'm not separate from this divine expression.
And not only not separate, you could never be separate. That's impossible. If there's only one energy, and energy and matter are equal and interchangeable, how could you separate yourself from that? You can't separate yourself. But what you can do is open your mind to perceive how you're connected in it. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden the breeze or the bird or the flower or the four-legged friend or you just never know where it's going to come from, like a deeper insight into who and what you really are. And every one of those little moments where you catch a deep insight into who you really are, you become progressively more authentic, right? Mm. And the more authentic you become, the more you're going to notice that behold, the kingdom of heaven is not somewhere out in the distant future. It's happening right now, according to my capacity to be aware of it.
Yeah, according to my capacity to be aware of it. That's
so therefore, I think I should probably work on my awareness, right?
Yeah, right. Let's practice. Let's do a little work on that. Well, as you know, our vision is building healthy masculinity in the world. So, that's even what we're doing right now, is to get into that metaphysical consciousness, to get into that mystic consciousness that really is seeing it from the soul, the soul observer perspective, rather than the human observer perspective, which is, often informed by the news and, all the craziest of the crazy going on in our world right now.
Right. And there are 9 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
Roughly speaking, right? Yeah. Now, of the 9 billion people, just in terms of education, just in terms of opportunity, just in terms of whatever, how many of those souls have done what Dr. Holmes said, purpose themselves to see through the mist into the eternal and changeless reality, right? I want to not get stuck in this fog, but see through it, right? Now, that doesn't mean I'm attacking the race. It just means I'm not going to contribute to the race where it's missing the mark, right? The original expression sin was an archery term. It meant you aimed and you missed, right? So when we say, even take an old biblical saying like "go and sin no more," that's not like, to me, that means don't aim at what's not the mark, right? Don't aim at what isn't the mark. The mark is, it can't be millions of dollars. It can't be real estate portfolios. It can't be anything material, because no matter who you are, you can't keep that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it has to be something else. And then when we see that, you have the extraordinary vision of a Mahatma Gandhi, a little tiny skinny man who changed the world without firing a shot, right? A Martin Luther King, who said this idea of prejudicing against races is absurd, and you can't do it. And he let his voice rise to a place where it affected real change in the human condition. Now, we've got a long way to go, but we're not obligated to be a Gandhi or to be a Martin Luther King. We're obligated to be the best me that I can be, and to influence my circle, however far that influence goes, in the most positive way that I can, toward a vision that I believe in. Like you just used that expression, a world that works for everybody. I don't think that that's a vision of a world that could never be. I think it's drawing forth a potential that's waiting there to be drawn forth. And all it's going to take, we already know the science of it, all it's going to take is critical mass of awareness to do it. Now, we just don't know, of that 9 billion, what critical mass is. But clearly we have not hit it yet. But there's a language that we're speaking here today, and many are learning in this summit and have been learning there through many decades of their lives, that is very different than when I started to learn this language 50 years ago. Right? It was taking a Christian metaphor and expanding it out into a totally different point of view. The Louise Hayes, the Terry Cole Whitakers, the Deepak Chopras, the Wayne Dyers, the souls who have made a contribution in an awakening world that is changing the world. So I don't think that my 50 years of work in this field has been for naught. I see it in a changed, because, if you look at my Facebook page, you'd think the whole world was enlightened, because they're connecting you with some kind of connection that the analog can find out, that the algorithm can find out, that are connecting you with like-minded souls, right? But my page is going to look like very different than somebody who's a terrorist, or somebody whose intentions are not good. That you won't see me on that page anywhere near it. Not because I do anything about it, because I don't vibrate there, right? Yeah. And now we're seeing the law of vibration working its way into cyberspace through these algorithms. That's how we're finding one another. Yeah. Right? It's a new world now. Very different than when I started. We never had a picture of the Earth from space, right? Once you see the picture of the Earth from space, the ideas, some old antiquated ideas, automatically fall away. When you see a picture of the Earth from space, there's no borders, there's no colors of people. There's just this blue ball surrounded with some land somewhere.
The pale blue dot.
It's a little blue dot, right? And it's the third planet from the sun in a galaxy filled with galaxy upon galaxies. Yeah. Right? There's no way. We're too small to comprehend all of that, but we can draw it in, right? We can draw it into the field of our awareness, and that's the big discovery of the subconscious mind and how all that works and how much bigger it is than our conscious mind. So we can set a tone, which is a masculine activity, whether you're a male or a female. Setting the tone of your vibration into the cosmic field, right, which creates. It is a very powerful thing to do, and it will begin to fulfill the law. The law is a very simple law: birds of a feather flock together, right? Meaning, like vibration attracts itself. Yeah. Right. So that's what if we are working on daily, expanding our vibration in terms of the direction that we think is authentically ourselves. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. The Dalai Lama says, my religion is kindness. He says, he may be a Tibetan monk, but his religion is kindness, right? Which transcends any religious piece of pie.
I love that. The vibrationally we attract. So the things that we believe, the experiences that we have, we can shift that frequency, we can shift that energy vibration through our practices, through meditation, through prayer, affirmative prayer, through even just what we see and what we believe and what we're engaging in. We're adding that to our vote.
Yeah.
I'm going to engage
who we're connecting with and who we're getting support from, right? Yeah. All of those things make a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, we do flock together. We do. There are those of us who have found this new thought philosophy that is incredible and amazing, and that you have certainly participated in for a very long time, which is, I'm so grateful, that you have done the work that you've done, that you have done the inner growth and inner consciousness work to have that frequency, to have that vibration on a regular basis, to be in that open, to be in that love, to be in that peace, to be in that wholeness, wisdom, all, oneness, all of that. And to focus on that, or not,
and not would mean whatever you're going to get tossed around by the waves, however they're rolling. So here's an interesting story.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. To connect with our community of like-minded men and access our full library, including summit talks, meditations, podcasts, weekly online men's groups, and so much more. Become a member today at newthoughtmens.community/membership. And now back to the podcast.
I was initiated in TM, Transcendental Meditation, when I was 16 years old.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Now, how long from the time I was 16 years old did it take me to develop a meditation practice on a daily basis, whereas now I don't have to think about my meditation practice. I do it every day, right? And I don't do it at a particular time. I do it when it's time for me to sit up and meditate, right? So,
yeah.
And I do a mantra meditation. I happen to use the mantra I am. I no longer use the original mantra I was given, right? So I've been meditating on the I am for 35 years. So it took a while from I was 16 until it became a daily practice, right? Right. And then that daily practice becomes a discipline, and the discipline becomes natural, not a struggle. Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine if I can observe myself and sometimes my misbehaviors, right, and see how off track it is. And this is somebody who's been meditating consciously for almost 40 years, right? It's like, I don't know how people do it without that. It's like, wow, I would think you would just be constantly being run by your emotions, right? As opposed to be the observer who can see you're having an emotion, or you're noticing you're having a bad day. Well, I'm not going to stay there for very long once I notice it, right? Okay, I'll let this day pass, and a new good is coming, and I'm looking for it, right? You have to forgive yourself. Like, well, I mean, this is an old story and so true, right? When you watch the ice skater in the middle of their routine, and they finally go for the big triple Lutz or whatever they call it, and they jump up and they spin and they fall down, what's the first thing we do? We gasp, right? We who are watching, we all gasp. Oh my God. And what do we look for? We look, and we're sending love and support to that skater. Get up and finish your routine. You fell. Get up and finish your routine. So this idea that we should hold ourselves, like I mentioned to you just in a casual conversation off camera, unless you're walking on the water, I'd be working on your practice, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know that I've ever successfully walked on the water. Thank God I'm a good swimmer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love what you're saying, and I actually just had to take a moment. I love this quote from Gandhi: "Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny."
Isn't that beautiful? That's right.
It is.
It does. It stacks on each other. It builds. We're in an upward forward spiral.
Yeah,
right?
and that's what we're doing with our own consciousness.
I notice the magic of awareness working on my behalf all the time, right? Yeah. And I had a story one time years ago. I used to enjoy the movies a lot, and I didn't like it when I got to a movie late, because then I didn't see the whole thing, right? Yeah. And so one day my wife and I are off to the movies. We had teenage children, and we got a date night, and we're going out, and we're running late. And I absolutely did not have time. I dropped her at the curbside. I had to find a parking place, and it all had to happen fast, or I was going to miss the start of the movie. My wife went in and got tickets and blah, blah, blah. So I went around the parking lot and couldn't find it. And then I asked for help, and I was given a parking spot. And now I'm starting to walk into the movie. I'm going to make it on time. And I look back at the car parked in the parking spot, and I said, thank you. Because I knew I didn't know how to make that parking spot happen. I knew the universe helped me, right? And the universe knew my desire wasn't that complicated. It was to get to the movie on time, right? So I turned, I looked at the car underneath a nice floodlight in the parking lot, and I turned and I said, thank you, not to the car, to the cosmos.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel anything. I turned to go start running to the theater, and I turned back and I looked again and I said, thank you. And then I got the God bumps, like, oh, the universe responded me. And then I realized, it's not about the gift of the parking place. It's about the gift of the communion, right? That I didn't want just the parking place without knowing that it wasn't me that did it and being grateful for it, right? And then if I'm going to acknowledge it, I want to feel it. Can I feel you, right?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. But you have to take that beat. You have to stop and look for it. Yeah. Are you just trying to get your will to happen, or are you trying to work with the cosmos that your will might be a blessing somehow?
Yeah, the cooperation.
Right. I'm in cooperation, right? Yeah. And and I'd rather be in awe and wonder of the magic being worked all around me than my having to claim it. Oh God,
yeah,
I am so
personal will.
Oh God, how great I art, right? No, it's not that. It's not that. It's this whole thing is pretty amazing, and I'm I've had more than 6 decades on the planet, and I'm I am still interested in the awe and wonder of what I might really be.
Right. It's so
great.
fascinating. I mean, I've been in this philosophy for over 30 years, and I'm still inspired by it every day. I still get blown away. I still get
right.
The God bumps and the
exactly. That's what I live for.
That.
Yeah, I live for the fact that not only do I know that I'm connected, I feel connected.
Yeah.
That part feels good, right?
Yeah.
And I can't take much credit for that, except that I have a practice and it has developed. Mm-hmm. Now, when you do like you and I have done and follow a calling to be a teacher of this stuff, well, guess what? There's an old expression that says we teach with that which we most learn we most need to learn. Well, thank God I've been talking about this stuff out the wazoo for all these years, and I think I might be getting a little bit of it. It's might be coming through.
Absolutely. And deeper levels of it, it's just, I mean,
and the rhythms change, the pace has changed, what you think is critical changes. I mean, if anything, we make a big effort to make sure we see our adult children and their children. And I can't say enough to them about how much meaning they have in my heart and soul. I mean, and so yes, I say I love you, and it was like, but I can't grab them every time and say no. But I really, really love you. Right? It's like, you have to just sort of know that they know, and you share in the field that you're in, and you feel the love and the joy that's there. And fortunately, they think we're good too, and we schedule accordingly. And you have to go out of your way to schedule accordingly to get what you love. Have you not noticed?
You got to be committed to it.
You got to be committed.
Absolutely.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, Harry, I'm so enjoying this conversation. Like I really love and just appreciate what you have done. Like, I mean, you say 50 years, and that is just monumental. That is so beautiful. I mean, and I think just what this philosophy, what this path, what this spiritual journey has been, with all of its craziness, for me anyhow, all of its twists and turns and different learning experiences. I haven't found anything that's more amazing than this new thought philosophy. Have a new thought, and your life will be different. Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking, change your life.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it is.
But he also said something toward the end of his life, which I think was really beautiful.
Hmm.
And he was speaking to a group, and they were asking questions at the end of his talk. And he said, this works for me. And at that point, he had quite a body of work, right? And he said, this works for me. He says, and you can have this or any part of it.
Yeah.
Right? So you choose in. When I feel like I got called into ministry. I was in a hospital in a life-threatening situation, and the light came upon me, and I'm holding in my hand the Ernest Holmes book, The Science of Mind.
Hmm.
And I said back to the light in the room that was filled with light, if you want me to minister, I will minister.
Hmm.
And but I'm holding this book in my hand. I said, but this is the only thing I believe. And the universe said back to me, I didn't tell you what to minister. I just asked you to minister.
Hmm.
Right. So, oh, well, then I guess I'll minister to these ideas. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then I would say at this point in my journey, I would say this works for me. And it has worked for me. And you can have this or any part of it. I will also say, as a skier and or an ice skater, that I have fallen more than once, and I've gotten up. Right. And
Yeah.
and we will on a journey. There's no such thing as a perfect walking of the path. You get on the path. If you took a wrong turn, you go back and change it again, right? But you begin to find what works with you. And to me, the wonderful thing about what we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer is in that first two steps. There's only one life. That life is the perfect life of Source. That life is my life right here and right now. It's the only life there is. Therefore, it is my life, and I am that. That's a heck of a platform from which to live your life. And I've known many souls, some who are still teaching and some who are no longer with us, and they would say the same thing. Being able to be led to these ideas and then being able to find a way to practice them is a life changer. And so then, yes, of course, we're gonna look for other souls who found that,
who are on the journey,
and who are on that journey. Yeah, exactly.
My story goes like this. I had been a practitioner for about maybe 10 years or so, and I'm like, okay. So a little bit about me. I am neurodiverse, so I'm dyslexic, and school was the last thing that I ever wanted to do. And I sat for, almost a year, and I just asked, I'm like, what is mine to do? I got to have an inspiring vision, to want to go back into this thing that was so challenging for me, called school and writing papers and all of that involves. So, what is it? And I got very clearly, it was like, hey, look, you've been in Science of Mind, you've been in New Thought for 30 years, you've been in men's work for 30 years. Though both of those have, like you said, have changed my life. Like I couldn't even imagine who I'd be today. And it's like, okay, I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'm willing to go through.
Yeah, and then you got support on it, and somehow you're able to do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it works. Yeah,
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It is that soul drive, that soul purpose.
Well, I think you're doing a wonderful thing in the world and finding a way to let men discover themselves and be authentic with themselves is an extraordinary thing. My class, high school class, has had a documentary made about us, and it's called Fortunate Sons, and it's playing on PBS now. It's available, but it's been really interesting to listen to audiences who have been seeing this film, who have nothing to do with our class or where we came from or any of that. But what happened is 50 years later, almost 50 years later, because of the COVID, all of these now senior citizens, men, started to get on Zoom calls and connect and share at a level of authenticity and non-competition that is extraordinary among men. And that, I think, is something you're promoting, which is let us find a way we can be shoulder to shoulder and honest with each other about what we see, about what we feel, and what's going on. And to this day, I talked to several members of that same class, and I just heard from one of my good buddies today, who left me a voicemail. I'm just checking in with you. I love you. It's like,
yeah,
that's a nice thing. That my friends actually say I love you to each other a lot, and and they're not worried about their masculinity being threatened in any way or anything else. They're discovering that indeed we're softer than we pretended to be, and we were probably more defensive than we needed to be. Right?
Yeah.
And you just shared your open revelation is like, and now you're calling other men to do that, to be forthright and honest with themselves, and therefore to be able to grab support from each other. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I commend you for it.
Thanks, Harry. Yeah, the foundation is creating a safe place, and when you have that safety, then men or women, men's groups, women's groups, co-ed groups, it's just so powerful to see people share their authentic self, share their story, share their most joyful things, share their most painful things, really have the healing experience. And the Power of Eight, the book, The Power of Eight, talks about this, is like the healing power of people coming together with an intention of holding that higher vision, which is exactly what we do in New Thought.
Yeah.
And so to get men together, especially, and to just let them go, whether it's in supporting communities, in having a men's group, or whether it's our men's groups online, it's so amazing to see the process. And I know, I get it. Like, I was in a men's group for 25 years, mostly the same guys. And it was the most amazing thing. I still talk with these guys, even though we don't meet anymore. And it's the same thing. It's like, hey, I love you, brother. Hey, what you got going on? Or somebody will just call up and say, hey, something just went to shit. Did you have a minute for me to talk? Can you support me?
There was a Catholic saint named Saint Ignatius that said the glory of God is a human being fully alive. And well, it doesn't matter what you call God or source or energy or the beginning. It's the fact that we have an opportunity to become fully alive in this lifetime and in our time. Yeah. And that's a blessing. And now, because of cyberspace, there's a way for people to find each other without having to get in a car and drive all the time, or get on an airplane or wherever it is. How many New Thought conferences 40 years ago did people fly in from Africa and Nordic countries or wherever there was no New Thought in the nomenclature, not normal, but they found it and then they went after it. And now we're making it more, as I say, there's a change. It's a lot more prevalent and more available than it ever was before.
Yeah. That's when we started doing men's groups online. Was COVID. We were supposed to have a gathering. We do an annual gathering every year, and so we were supposed to do it. And like 2 weeks out, I had to make the call, and I said, I'm going to choose safety for our community. And so we had it online. It wasn't the same, but it was wonderful and it was amazing. And what I realized in that moment, I think Edward Velyun was the speaker that year. It was lovely, and And we're bummed that we weren't able to be together and hug each other and, have that energy and connection. It's a different energy and connection, but it was so powerful. And I saw the drive and the desire and the need in those guys to have, a circle. And so even though I was still in ministerial school, I'm like, I'm not doing anything else, just this gathering, just these gatherings. And then of course, Spirit's like, okay, let me laugh at that. And we started a men's group, and that's been going on for over 5 years now, out of the joy.
Good job. Yeah.
Just
good job. And like I say, it's now making connection happen sooner, and it doesn't mean that you can't do those other layers now too.
Yeah.
To go out and find people to hug. It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
Start with a tree and go from there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm in Colorado, up in the mountains, so
that's an opportunity. That's right. Exactly.
There's plenty of skiing opportunities and tree hugging opportunities and all that stuff. Harry, I've just so enjoyed this conversation. We do want to wrap up here, but I have a final question for you that I've been asking guys at this particular, or speakers at this particular summit, and it's what does divine masculinity look like in the 21st century? Give us a snapshot of your perspective of that.
Well, I think we've been talking about it. Yeah. I think that that we're never only just one thing, right? We're multifaceted beings, and to discover that you can be masculine, and you can be sensitive, and you can be authentic, and you can be truthful, and the world has room for you, and will make room for you. I mean, you hear so many wonderful stories about people changing their lives and thinking, well, nobody will love me anymore. Mm-hmm. And then they make a change toward that which is more authentic to themselves, and find out they are still loved. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And my stepdad was good friends with John Wayne. And you don't have to walk around like a cowboy to be an authentic male. You can be, and yet you can still have that in you, and just as you can have the soft side that can, that can see a puppy, get nipped at and compassionately help the puppy. It's like, and nipping happens in the world, puppy. We just wanted you to know, I'm sorry you got hurt.
Speaking to your new pup that you got a little while ago.
Yes.
He and Casper are still negotiating, I guess.
That's right. There's things you don't know, little pup. And I just started.
And
things he doesn't know, because he thinks he's supposed to be that. I said, no, that's not how we do it in this house. Yeah. So he's learning, but they'll find a way. You create an environment of love, and everybody will find their place where they belong.
Yeah. We call that the whole man theory.
Yeah.
The whole self. Like we, with your guys calling and saying, I love you, that wouldn't have happened in high school,
Correct.
And
Correct.
Yet it's that gentler, that realization that I'm more than just a provider. I'm more than just the fixer, the fixer around the house. I'm more than just, taking care of business or whatever, but I get to have my emotions. I get to have my feelings. I get to have my soulful experiences. I get to have my, my power tools in my truck, being a contractor. I love that stuff. And, I also get to be the sensitive man. I also get to be a loving, kind man. I also get to be a genuine man. I think that's where
that's the closer to what that is now.
Yeah.
That's what masculinity is now.
I agree. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Harry, I just want to share. So you can find Harry at newthought.com. Of course, he's got the books and the podcast. If you want to meet Casper, you can meet him on the podcast, and the videos, the movies, all that great stuff that you're doing. Thank you, Harry. Thank you for not only who you are and how you show up, but also the amazing things that you seeded along the way for people like me to be able to take this step into New Thought and say, hey, let's bring communities in within New Thought together, and let's provide more support. Let's provide, support for more men, for women, for kids. I know all of this stuff for our beloved LGBTQ community. It's given what's going on right now. It's so beautiful, and I think it's the community. And maybe I mentioned this, but when everybody's consciously growing, but when we're in community, it 10 times that. It expands it so much. It expands that consciousness, expands that love, it expands that joy, it expands that abundance, it expands everything. And so, to have that in community, in New Thought, I think I just see it flourishing now, especially given the technology that we have and where we're headed, what we're able to do. I hope we always have local centers, because there's nothing like getting together, going to Mile High Church and getting a bunch of hugs, or going to your local center and seeing a bunch of people you relate to and can connect with. But it's another, we as New Thought are being challenged by the world to say, hey, how big do you want to play? How much do you want to step up? How important is it to have this philosophy in the world and to have people know what this is and what it's about? People on that spiritual path, people who are seeking. I mean, we know through, the Pew Report, which is just like where religions are at. And we see more and more, and generationally, more and more people leaving organized religion because they're just not resonating. It's not resonating with their life in a very real and practical way. And I think New Thought really could fill that void for many, to help them on their spiritual path, to help them with the tools, the support, the teachers, the love, the community. Especially for me, community is just huge. So I'm just so grateful to you for seeding all of that stuff. And I know it was many people who've done this, but you founded ANTN, which I'm headed to their retreat this next week. So I'm super excited about it. But I think it really is about us stepping up as a community and out as a community to really share this wisdom that many people have shared for a long time. Names that you mentioned, Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer. I saw Wayne Dyer when he was alive at Mile High Church many times. In fact, I'll just share a real quick story. Wayne had just done a sharing, and this was many years ago, and he was walking up, and I was one of the last person, and I was sitting there, and I said, hey, Wayne, I was a young guy, maybe 30 or something, even younger. And I'm like, hey, Wayne, I got a question for you. And he stopped. He had passed me. He stopped. He turned around. He came down and sat in that pew with me for maybe a minute. It wasn't a long time, but he just listened to my question. And I don't even remember what he said, but the act was so beautiful of him saying, hey, you're important. I'm going to take time. I'm going to take this time. And, at his peak of, rock star status in the metaphysics circles anyhow. And yeah. it just touched me deeply. And I think we need that so much right now. We need that one-on-one connection. We need that evolution into who we're supposed to be and who we're becoming, that soul purpose. So yeah, if I can continue, and I know you're continuing, sharing, just to grow this even more and to allow other people to have this in their life and affect their lives as it has yours and as it has mine. I'm so grateful. Thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you, my friend. It was my pleasure to be with you. Congratulations on your summit.
Thank you. We'll have you back again, Harry. I love this conversation. Thanks so much.
All right.
So thank you. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Checking this podcast out. We really appreciate it, but there's more to come. So stay tuned in.
Stay tuned in. There we go.